Candlestick Park when John Mara's late mother, Ann Mara, I believe. Is that right?
I think that's right. It sounds right.
Yelled at Terry Bradshaw. Look it up. Google it, everybody.
Oh, really?
Like in front of everybody?
In front of everybody.
Why?
She was like, you never pick us. You never pick us. And that was the year that the Giants went to the Super Bowl in Indianapolis and beat Tom Brady. Do I think that he'll be good? I think he won't hold back. I think that, I mean, he recently actually said that he doesn't say 90% of the things that he thinks.
And he will, you think?
I think he'll say more.
Aditi,
He's had that kind of discipline.
Aditi, do you know his sense of humor is legendary?
Oh,
like when you talk to players, because I don't know that, maybe you've gotten to know him. I don't know that anybody really truly gets to know him except his family or his teammates. And I think that's by design.
Right.
But, you know, I worked with Teddy Bruschi forever, and they're like, he's funny. Yeah. He's a genuinely funny guy, and you wouldn't know that. I hope we get to see that part of Tom when he becomes a broadcaster, because my hope was, I hate to see him sign with one network. Here's what I wanted him to do. A revolutionary deal. He works for whatever network has the Super Bowl. So he year to year, he goes from Fox to CBS to, I want to see him in the Super Bowl, calling the Super Bowl every year. Because who better to hear talk about the biggest game than the best player that's ever played in that game, Tom Brady. I'd watch that.
Do you like the simulcast? Do you, on Monday Night Football, do you watch Peyton and Eli?
It's the best thing on TV.
I agree with Jay, though. He said recently, if it's the Browns game, I won't watch it just because I want to be more focused on the game.
Okay.
But otherwise, I like it. I do think they do too many interviews, though. Okay. I want to hear more from Peyton and Eli.
Do you like it, Aditi?
Right. I do, and I love it when Peyton's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing right there?"
That's
or look
great.
at this guy. Or,
he called
so
out
you're
the Ravens
the game.
during a game. He's like, he had said a couple of plays earlier, they should never, ever play zone defense, ever. And he's telling Eli why. And then in the very next play, or a few plays later, they get burned for a touchdown. He goes, and that's why they should never play it. They're not good at it.
Right.
Nobody says that on a network broadcast.
What we're missing is, Tom Brady might be good, but the greatest of all time. I'm going to tell you this right now. As soon as he hangs it up, he's going to make a bucket load of money. It's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is the #1 analyst in the game. His progressive commercials is good. He knows the game. He's interesting. He has a cult following. Baker, if it don't work at a quarterback.
Think so?
Heck yeah.
It's a bad take, G. That's
Thanks.
terrible.
I was gonna say that, Mikey.
I don't agree with that.
I'm willing to watch him try right now.
Yeah, I think some of those commercials are okay. Some of them he looks very stiff.
I think he's a good actor. I think
those are well directed. I think they're just really well directed. You do a million takes with a guy like that. Like, now do it this way. Now do it this way.
Well, Progressive knows how to do commercials.
And the
I think
camera
that
loves
campaign's
Baker.
over now.
No, it's not.
Oh,
so
it's not?
no, I know somebody in the business, and this year's it's going to be a whole season, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So in week, you know how they would roll them out week by week?
Yeah,
You have
sure.
new ones? So in week 1, he comes to First Energy, and they've changed the locks.
Oh, really? He
Yeah.
actually has a good sense of humor.
He's been evicted.
Is you spilling the beans on this kid? like
You bought it, Bull.
Like,
I can't believe I bought that. I was like, there's no way you can okay with that.
bro.
You bought it too.
I'm the one who told you. Come on, bro.
There's another one where he's standing outside and he's trying to get the Wi-Fi, and Bernie comes up to him and he says, "We've changed the password, bro, and I can't give it to you."
I think they should.
That was
actually,
good.
Jay's got another career in
That was good right
advertising.
there.
I thought you were going to say they demoted him and he's doing it for The General now, the way worse insurance company.
Those commercials are so bad.
He's like with that guy. He's like, yeah, I'm with this guy now.
With Shaq, and then and now they start hiring other people like Ernie Johnson's in one. They're trying to like class them up a little bit.
Well,
and they
now,
even make fun of their old bad commercials.
One of those progressive commercials, he's like serving the nachos. Now he actually is the guy who's serving the nachos because that's his job. By the way,
taking out the trash.
Yes, exactly. Circling back to your chalk talk with Kevin Stefanski, I know a big talking point with a lot of fans is, why won't Kevin Stefanski give up the play calling? And he was asked about that.
He was asked that. And he said, the single most important thing for him is to feel like he's helping the team. And he also said that play calling to some degree is overrated, that it's the work that goes in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that so much is already designed by the time you actually get to Sunday.
Yeah.
And he also insisted, and I have been told this by other coaches on that staff, that it really truly is collaborative. It's not that Kevin is sitting here and saying, we're going to do this. He will ask Bill Callahan, what do you think right here? He will ask Alex Van Pelt, what do you think
That's
right
the
here?
sign of a good coach.
And in some ways it's, not as much chatter, and the 15-play script is put together by all of them. to start a game.
Yeah.
So,
Like Hugh Jackson, it was my way or the highway. He
right.
wasn't interested.
This is not how Kevin is
Yeah, right.
operating, and I think that, and I'm on the record having said, let Alex. I like a head coach who is the CEO.
I agree with you 100%.
And runs everything
Yeah.
and is on top of everything. I don't love a coach, whether you're Mike Tomlin calling the defense or you're Kevin Stefanski calling the offense. I'm not crazy about it, but I don't think that Kevin Stefanski does it in a way where it is really singularly just him.
But what about when the defense needs attention too?
Right.
And the offense is on the field. I hate that he can't let go of this steering wheel to go pay attention
And
to
that's
that
a
player.
piece
That's
of
what a
it,
head
right?
coach should
Because
do.
when the offense comes off the field, he's huddling with Callahan and
Sure.
AVP
And now
and
he's
the
not-
offense. And so who's managing
Right.
the defense over
Yeah,
there?
that's why I
like
do
the
think
coach who.
look at Bill Belichick. I mean, who calls their own play? Andy Reid doesn't call his own plays.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
He's involved in it, but
Yeah.
he has an offensive coordinator.
Man.
I think
I mean,
he
yeah,
calls
he's
the plays, though.
So I think
Yeah.
to your point that it's collaborative and you're putting in a game plan, I think Andy Reid's got his shirt sleeves rolled up all week long, and he's
Right.
devised,
Right.
he's the genius behind the offense. But Eric Bieniemy, I think that he's able to be overruled. If Andy doesn't want to do something, you're going to listen to the genius.
But that's anybody.
Sure.
Even when,
Yeah, every head
and I'll
coach
go
can do
back
that.
to the Steelers. Mike Tomlin is a defensive guy. When Todd Haley would call something in a certain situation, Mike Tomlin always has the ability and would say, no, we're not going to do it. Or it's
Right.
the head coach
And you would
saying
hope he
we're
would
going
as
for
the
it on
head coach.
fourth or, yeah,
But every single
exactly.
play, you're in
Right.
the minutia at that
So
point.
why is the
Right.
title that important? Why does he
Well,
need
if
to
you
still
ask Bill
be there?
Belichick, titles don't matter.
Right. And
Right?
think
He's not
that's
giving the
not.
title to any
Right.
of his assistant coaches.
But I don't
right
think,
now.
and my sense is, and you know him a lot better than I do, that Kevin Stefanski doesn't care about the title, like that
Oh,
he's the
yeah.
play caller.
And he, in fact, last night, I will say this, even though this is supposed to be a off-the-record event, he was so complimentary of Alex Van Pelt, his offensive coordinator, and just talked
Oh, we
about
can't
how
have that
valuable
get
he
now.
is. And
You know that big secret that he likes his offense. That he likes his score?
No, but I just mean
No, I know what you mean.
the fact that, AVP played in the league for a long time. He was a great
Yeah.
Pitt quarterback. He actually is the one that set all of the Pitt records, not Dan Marino. So when Kenny Pickett broke them this year, he was breaking AVP's records. And so it's that authority to say, hey, I remember this time when I was in this game against this team. But then also the way that, look, AVP is a magic man. He has dealt with Aaron Rodgers. He has dealt with Baker Mayfield.
He's seen it all.
I think one of the things that people are so married to calling plays is we're all up here. We all do talk and we do different things, right? We talk for a living. You don't want to give up what your bread and butter is. You're known for play calling.
Right.
That is your forte. So why would you go out and because if you don't perform, you're gonna get fired, right? I'm going out swinging, calling my plays, not your plays.
Yeah.
That's such a smart thing to say, too, because I remember when Mike Zimmer got the job in Minnesota, and Mike Zimmer was this brilliant, is a brilliant defensive mind. He had been a longtime defensive coordinator.
Yep.
He told me, I'm going to call the plays on defense because it's my piece of credibility. When I get in that room, those players know this is what I know,
Is it
and I
different,
earn
though,
that.
Aditi, whether it's the defense or the offense? It seems to me that it is. I think that because defense is reactionary, right?
A little bit, sure.
So you can call a play, and you can hope that it fits what the offense is called, and that
you
you're
respond,
successful.
right.
But to me, the driving force of a football game is what the offense decides to do on any given play. It just, to me, I don't want to diminish the defensive coordinator's role, but at the end of the day, the players are reacting to what the other guys are doing. On offense, you're making the defense react to what you're doing. You can
I
be
think
more
that's
aggressive.
fair, but I think especially in the AFC North, certain defenses, the personnel that you put in really puts the offense in a bind.
Okay, I'll agree with that,
And is
yeah.
Wink Martindale calling a blitz or not? And Wink is gone now, but obviously he was calling a blitz all the time for the
Sure.
Ravens. So is the pressure, where is the pressure coming from? Is the safety blitzing or not? I think that there's a little bit more. I think you make a very fair point. But I don't know. This is why we get paid to talk about it as
but
opposed to
ultimately,
doing
you
it.
could argue, though, that if the defensive coordinator is not that important, then it's okay for Kevin Stefanski to leave that job to Joe Woods, let him do his thing, and just focus on the more important part, the
Don't
offense.
misunderstand me. I don't say the defensive coordinator is not that important.
Or
I'm
not
just
as
saying,
important,
I'm
maybe.
saying that if you're Bill Belichick and
Yeah.
you want to have your hands deep into the defense, okay, I get it. Zimmer, I get it. Tomlin, I get it. The gurus that have made their chops on offense, when they become the head coach, I just think it takes a little more attention. And I'm probably wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never been in that huddle, so I don't know. But to me, as a fan watching, I feel like you have more control over a game as an offensive coordinator because you're dictating what's going on than you do as a defensive coordinator, because you could call a blitz, but if the offense has blitz pickup package and they slide protect or a tight end comes over, you're still responding and reacting to what the offense is doing.
That's fair, but again, I go back to the idea that I think the CEO head coach is the best bet. I mean, you look at Green Bay a year ago, right? And Matt LaFleur calls the offense. He's all about the offense. Their special teams fell apart. Are you as aware of who needs extra help? Yeah. What unit needs some, whether it's coddling or whether it's, lighting a fire or whatever it may be? I just like that model.
Especially when you're an inexperienced head coach to begin with.
Yeah, and that's what we keep seeing. Is we see these young coaches in their first head coaching roles calling offenses.
Just like with the quarterback, I think when you go to the head coach, right? You got the head coach and you got the quarterback. A lot of what you call is run through a quarterback. So a quarterback, you can have a play call in, but the quarterback says, I'm going to audible. You can have a play call in, but you have different route combinations. Maybe I've been keeping back in. So a lot of what you are calling depends on, do you have a competent quarterback? How savvy is he? And how well does he know the game plan?
Right.
And then you look great.
Well, that's also why it drives me crazy sometimes when fans or even media members will complain about one specific play call, because you never know what was called.
Right.
Right.
Particularly when the quarterback checks out of it.
Exactly. Like if you're angry about a general,
and you're never going to get anybody to admit it on the record that that was supposed to be a run play. But I mean, I remember a few years ago there was something like that where a quarterback threw an interception in the end zone and then went on the radio and said he shouldn't have thrown to that receiver. He should have thrown to a different receiver, and it created all this drama. But the truth was, it should have been a run play. He should have handed the ball off.
Right.
So
It's on topic, but a little different. I have a theory that these guys kill me for. We talked about it again yesterday.
It's coming.
You'll probably kill me for it too.
Right
But listen,
I already know what's coming.
I want your honest opinion. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me. They have no problem
But
telling
I just
me
met
that.
you. I don't want to tell you that. The first time
I give you license to call me an idiot if this is an idiot theory.
Take
You
advantage
can call
of
him an
this.
idiot, Aditi.
Please take advantage of this.
all right.
That's granted.
Mikey does all the time. So my theory is that with Baker Mayfield set to make $18 million, whatever that final number is, they haven't moved him. I believe there is a scenario. I'm not saying it's the most likely scenario, but I believe that we shouldn't discount the possibility that Baker Mayfield plays for the Browns again. Now, before you kill me on that, I would only say, let me give you the scenario. Deshaun gets a lengthy any suspension before the season starts. I know the offense is different between what Mayfield would do and what Jacoby Brissett would do, but you're paying your total quarterbacks between Watson and Baker $20 million this year. It seems to me the Browns would rather keep him as an insurance policy rather than give him up and pay a large portion of his salary to play for someone else. Am I completely wrong? Is there a 0% chance that happens?
I feel like we keep talking about this.
Yes, I asked you about it last week.
Anything in life is possible, but no, I do not see that happening.
But you're saying there's a chance. But you're saying there's a chance.
Because there's a chance for anything,
Okay,
right?
so
There's
take
a
us
chance I could
inside.
grow
What do
purple
you
hair
know?
tomorrow.
Is this relationship absolutely napalmed? Like do you know something there that we might not know?
I just think it behooves all parties, and all parties recognize that, to move Baker Mayfield. The Browns will need to pick up part of that salary. What that number is what's sort of at question, and you have a lot of different people that will have input on that.
Sure.
Because
what do you think they're willing to pay? Are they willing to pick up half? Because
I think they're going to have to pick up half.
The reports were they wanted to pick up none of it. That's absurd.
That's crazy.
Well, you know what, and this is, with all due respect, you can have ownership have a feeling about something, you can have a general manager have a feeling about something, you can have a head coach have a feeling about something. And I think ownership will always feel this is a former first overall pick, he's worth something. And I think that the GM is going to sit here and say, well, I don't need to give him away for anything, for nothing, because we're not even playing right now. And what if a quarterback wakes up hurt tomorrow? Or what if, that there is value. This is a guy that has demonstrated success in the National Football League in 2020. And I talked to several teams that felt before the draft he was better than any quarterback in the draft.
I'm going to reluctantly say something in support of Jay's point, and that is this. I've been thinking about this. and it really does. If you take a step back, we look at it. Obviously, it's a football situation. I hate when dudes call into the station and be like, "Hey, if I got paid $11 million to do my job, landscaping, I wouldn't complain." Like, nobody's paying you. You're not worth it. You don't have any skills. Whatever. Let's just get that over with.
Dang. Just kill his Indeed.
Your jobs are different. Whenever you're trying to compare, careers,
Yeah.
it's so stupid. It's so embarrassing. But I will say this. Imagine this. You've got this guy on the roster who probably offers you the best chance at coming into some of these games in the beginning of the year. If
Not
Watson,
probably, he does.
He does. If Watson, you've got you're paying him. He's proven. Now, yes, is it going to make some of the guys sad and uncomfortable that he's out there? Is it confusing and whatnot? Yeah, but the guy, go out and do your job. If that's the best person to go out and do your job for a few games before you can get your real guy in there, I mean, is it really? We're just like, but what if the tight ends get sad or?
Well, so hold on. Listen, I'm gonna give y'all a reality check. Aditi knows this as a woman. When a woman is fed up and she's done, she's done.
Well, are you calling Baker a woman?
No, I'm saying that people know when they are finished, when you understand what you want to do.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick gave people a great opportunity, right? He was a good quarterback. He was better than people coming out of the draft. You know what people said? Keep that. I don't want that.
And they were stupid to do it.
And I don't want it. And 32 teams said we're not going to do it. If you bring Baker Mayfield back into the locker room, it is a lose-lose. The worst case scenario is he goes 4-0. Do you know how many people in this city would say, "Hey"?
Yeah, but it's a business. You want to be
great
4-0.
problem.
But no.
Give me Watson.
No,
Thanks.
it's not.
No.
Because then the
And the trade market
organization is
sucks.
absolutely lambasted
It's a
for going out
dumpster
and
fire
getting
again.
Sean Watson and spending that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the least reason.
Oh, no,
we don't take
4
that
wins.
into
You guys are missing. You're all missing the biggest point. When has Baker Mayfield ever shown you the maturity that would lead you to believe
when
he would
is his
handle this
professional
well?
career hung in the balance?
Right.
That's where it is right now.
But that's I'm not just going to assume because that's the case that he's going to be act like an adult. He's never acted like an adult.
It kind of in your scenario, G, everybody wins. Here's why. I'm not bitching about anything if we're 4-0. Great. With Deshaun, we're going to be amazing. We know Deshaun's a better quarterback.
But the Baker bros
if we're
want to
4-0,
trade Deshaun at that point.
So what? At that point, who cares?
That's
You're 4-0,
irrelevant.
and you know what? You got the one up now. You can say I told you I was right about Baker.
Right.
So they're happy. Yeah. All the fans are happy. We're 4-0. The Browns are happy because the trade market for Baker just skyrocketed.
Actually, it doesn't.
It's a 4-game audition. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
If he can come in and prove that he's mature, to your point, that's what he's
He only has 1 year, $18 million. Say he goes 4-0. He's going to be a free agent after last year.
Do a sign and trade.
Are you
Do
going
a sign and trade,
Are
though,
you
G.
going to give up anything for him? No, you'll just say I'll wait and pay him.
I will say I think you're both wrong. Well, I don't know exactly what you're saying. I don't agree that
I'm wrong.
I don't agree that his value
Aditi?
skyrockets.
See?
But I do think it goes up a little.
Okay, even if it
goes up a little.
Forget his trade value. It absolutely goes up. If he comes in and plays and he's 0-4,
yeah, I don't buy
it's plummets.
skyrocketing, but I do
This
think
is ridiculous. It's not happening.
I know it's not, but we're talking
happening.
about it. We've
That's
got
it.
2 hours to fill.
We're arguing about superheroes playing football later on, too.
Yeah.
That's not happening
So,
either.
yeah, get
That's kind of what
ready.
we do around
How
here.
do you know it's not going to happen?
You're right, you
Maybe
never
there
know.
really are